Hello everyone, this is Juno Fox and we are going to be drawing in G4 and G5 style. Now, I went through a couple different eye shapes doing kind of like a Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and a Big Mac eye style. I ended up choosing Pinkie Pies because it felt like that's the one that a lot of people have the most problem with, so this is the one we're choosing. Always remember to make your ears like a little bit smaller as well as your mouths, which I did make her muzzle mouth kind of too big at first. So I do bring that size down. That's why I do so many sketches over and over again to give myself time to adjust and change things up as I go, which you'll see me do that a lot. I end up changing as I go quite often. It's a good practice to do to not always go with the first sketch that you end up doing because the first sketch isn't always your best one. Now, whenever I was doing these eyes and they look like perfect ovals, that's because there is a, what is it called? There's a specific tool that you can use that really helps you get that crisp line going. So I did use that whenever I was trying to do this really nice oval. It doesn't show up for some reason on the speed paint. I don't know why, but maybe I will get it next time. Highly doubt it. But I was having a hard time doing that perfect oval, so I did use a tool for that. Don't be scared to use lots of references and use your tools that are available to you when you're doing digital work. You can have some things for traditional work that would help with that, but that's not always the case. I also do end up making these legs way more chunky. They might have ended up a little too chunky, but I think that they looked pretty good. The G4 ponies have that really big head, the big legs, the very tiny body. I also maybe made her neck a little thicker than it should have been, but that's okay. I struggled a little bit with the hairstyle because I didn't want it to be like a very copy and paste look from other ponies of G4. I did end up liking that fringe when I first kind of sketched it out, so I followed that quickly. I just went in for it, and I ended up changing how the bottom of the hair was to make it kind of personal, to make her feel more of like a main character instead of like a side one. Don't get me wrong, some side characters have very like unique pretty hair, so yeah. And I ended up not keeping the bow on her tail because the wings just obscured it so much, and I didn't want to just make folded wings because I had people asking about making actual wings, and I don't really know how to describe how I make them. I just kind of keep sketching until it looks like it's supposed to. And the same with this cutie mark. Her name's Starshine, and that honestly just kind of looks like an exploding sun. So I decided to just actually completely change that and make it a star, so it was more like, hey, Starshine makes sense now. And also her color, I kind of accidentally made it a little bit darker than it was supposed to be, but I think it actually ends up looking pretty good. It kind of looks like Rarity's coat a little bit, how it's kind of like that off grayish white color, where she looks like she might be pure white, but she's more of like a gray for like what actual real horses aren't always specifically white. I believe that's a rare case of a horse actually being white. I think that considered white horses are usually always gray. So that's what I did with this. I do also draw G5. I think I said that, but just making sure we all heard it. I tried to make her eyes that deep blue, kind of like what she had going on in the reference vintage pony photo right there that was popped up on screen. It'll pop up again in a minute. But I think I got it. I don't know if I would change the eye color. Maybe they could be gold, but I feel like that might be a little too bold for her because her hair color is already pretty bold, and making characters, it can be a little daunting to make them bold because you want them to be memorable, but you don't want them to lack their memorability. So with her, I think very memorable thing is like her hair is very like different. It's not a basic pony hairstyle, so I think that makes her pretty memorable. But I think she wouldn't be like a main character per se, but maybe like a you see her here and there throughout the series kind of character. And I didn't want her bang to just be pink, so I added the stripes of the other colors to kind of make it pop. But this is her. This is Starshine. Hope you enjoyed her. And then we're going to move to G5, which I chose Firefly from G1. At first I wanted this kind of silly pose with her, but then I felt like that might just look weird in G5. So I went back and I looked at a couple references from the movie and the show and decided on something more silly where she's holding a phone. I'm not sure who she would be looking at. I just assumed that she could just look any direction. So there's no specifics on why she was looking the way she did or for her blipping her tongue, but yeah. And I do sometimes seem to make the necks a little too long, so I did bring the neck down to be more of the size it should be, because some in the reference photos kind of, they look like they have long necks, but they don't. It's just really the way the perspective is perceived there. I also, yes, I did give her a phone and I kind of made a heart shape. I chose to like go from the iPhone and do like the little heart instead of the square and put 3 little lenses in there. And there is a flash from the camera on there, like not an actual flash, don't worry. But yeah. And with G5, they kind of have these like heavy looking bottom to their legs. So I chose to like really try to emphasize that and try to really get that feathery feel on the feet, because I think that's one good thing that G5 does is they really make it feel like an actual pony almost. Obviously, there are things that doesn't make it a real pony, obviously. But yeah, and I like the way that the wings like actually feel like wings and they don't just feel like weird little fingers. I feel like G5, the wings kind of just look like fingers to me. So yeah, we're not going to have finger wings. Her hairstyle took me a second to like figure out at first, but then once I started this, I was like, yeah, this is it. She almost kind of looked like Opaline for like half a second, but I'm glad that she kind of doesn't. She almost kind of looks like a young Opaline, but we're just gonna pretend like she doesn't. But I did want to try to stay true to her colors as much as possible, while also still giving her that modern twist that G5 has. So there's like more color and value and hues inside of the pony's designs versus the one color basic, and the only thing that's unique about them is a cutie mark and a hairstyle, if that. And that's one thing I really applaud G5 for, is they really make like deeper connection with their designs. Their designs are great. Their execution of a story, however, still lacks, and I don't think that's a specific writer's fault. At the end of the day, there's someone greenlighting every little thing, so I'm not mad at the writers for the way the story came out. I'm mad at whoever greenlit this and forced the writers to write such a terrible storyline. Nobody's a Lauren Faust, but, you know, we can all hope. However, with her design, I did take the liberties of adding like a stripe in her hair to kind of give that difference from G1 to G5. Now, Minty, when they said that they were going to bring Minty into a G5, I had hope, and my hope was shattered when I seen her. That did not look like Minty. That looked like a sad lime green walking disaster. So not all their designs are good, but most of them are. I think she would have been better off being a different pony and not being the Minty. Also, the dragons having cutie marks and all looking exactly the same, just different colors, is weird to me. But yeah, and I did choose to do this in the lineless 2D style that I did the idea of Generation 6 in. And I think it turned out pretty good because there's no way that I could match that style. And I know some people are wondering, why do you leave spaces like that? It's because I go to the next layer and I draw up underneath that. It makes it look more seamless, and then you're not fighting it looking all jacked up and taking forever, which I think some people don't realize you have to do multiple layers with the 2D lineless style, and I think that's why a lot of people tend to avoid it, because it can be faster and easier to just do line work, but line work for me is very difficult and it's daunting, but I explode with greatness whenever I do the lineless style, so that is what I chose to do for this, because I could never ever hope to reach the texture of G5's 3D look. But I feel like if they would have done 2D like this could have been fun to watch. I could have had more fun watching it if it would have been like this. However, this would be kind of hard to, I'm not going to say rig, because I was never a rigger. I didn't ever rig stuff. I rigged one thing for college and that was it. But it could be a little bit more exhausting than just choosing a 3D model or a very simple 2D model to rig than this. Now, I'm sure that somebody could rig this that's like extraordinary at it. I was never good at creating and making rigs. I understood the fundamentals of it and how to do it, but I was never really good at it. Animation's really where I found my space, and concept art was my like everything. I do concept art like crazy 24/7, and because of this I get to teach art, so I do enjoy it. So I'm kind of trying to do that here. It's weird not to have someone in front of me to explain art to, so bear with me. I'm getting there, and I think I'm slowly getting better at it. But as you can see, I changed up the hose like repeatedly because it didn't match the color scheme I was going for. Whenever you create a character similar to this, just in terms of color, you can use a lot of different hues and intensities of the same color and getting different variations to where it kind of cohesively goes together. And I think that's kind of where I lacked a little bit on like certain things. Like I could have changed the stripe color in her hair to be a little bit more vibrant than what it was, but I think her wings do a very good job at being that more vibrant point. But Firefly, I think, turned out pretty good. I think that her mane and tail color are a little bit dull, because a lot of G1's colors seem to be a little bit more dull than they were vibrant, whereas G5 is highly vibrant, and I really tried to match the vibrancy. I tried so hard to match that vibrancy. I'm not sure if I fully executed it, but I think I got pretty close. I'm not saying that I'm the world's best artist by any means, but being able to do multiple styles, that helps so much when you're doing anything. Just take some time and try to recreate styles. This does help you as an artist do different things, look at anatomy differently, and it makes doing things like this a little bit easier than what it normally would be. I haven't drawn G5 style in over a year and a half, I think, so it was refreshing to do it. I really think that G5 style is cute, the way they do their ponies. I just wish it would have been 2D. I'm old school. I prefer the 2D look. And I feel like sometimes the hooves are a little too vibrant, so I went with that very shiny look, because some of the hooves in G5 are very shiny. I don't know why. They all have shiny hooves, but here we are, shiny hooves. And I do like having the stalks and the blaze look to her. I think that added some element of her being her own pony, from being the G1 Firefly to being G5 Firefly. I think that maybe I went too far with the blaze, but I think the blaze is also moved over a little too close to the nostril. I think that I could have pushed that over a little bit. Sorry for my a lot of ums. I say a lot, sorry. But whenever I did that blaze at first. I just wanted to keep it kind of soft look and didn't want to change it and make it look like a harsh looking blaze. So that's what you're getting, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And as far as the cutie mark goes, I just kind of copy and pasted the one bolt I did and made it very bright and intense on the color because I feel like that's what a lot of G5 is. It's very intense and bright, whether you want it to be that way or not. Then I went ahead and did a simple background with some clouds and rainbows. So I hope that you guys were able to enjoy this, and I'm thinking the next couple videos I might try to collaborate with another artist on or something of that nature, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see next. Thank you. Bye.